Class, it's Mr. H again. We're going to continue with 5.1. This is page 4 of the 5.1 notes. We're going to do some calculations with degrees, minutes, and seconds. Your calculator might have some sort of calculator feature that you could put in DMS form, so you may want to explore that. But I'm just really going to stick to by hand, old school method here. Really think about these as just kind of like grade school addition, where you're gonna have to do some like carrying and borrowing and that sort of thing. So what I do on these is I rewrite it. So I just put one on top of the other, right? So if I'm gonna add these two together, you just have to add like units of measurement, really, right? So if you think about 25 minutes and 47 minutes, that added together is 72 minutes, which is larger than 60, right? So those two added is 72 minutes, which you don't want to write your answer with a 72 minutes. Your minutes should always be less than 60. So break out a 60 from the 72. 72 is 60 plus 12. That equals 72. Okay, so what I'm going to actually do here is put a 12 for my minutes, and then this 60, I'm going to carry it over to the degrees, because 60 minutes is equal to 1 degree. So I'm going to kind of carry a 1 over there, right? And then add all of those up, and that's 61 degrees. Okay, there's my final answer. Okay, so hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. How about if we have seconds involved? Let's go ahead and just try to write it right under here. So I have 12 degrees. I can blow it up to make it look nicer. 17 minutes, 40 seconds. We're adding that up. Okay, so if I add those first 2 seconds, that's 77. And if you want to do some scratch work over here, 77 seconds is 60 seconds plus 17 seconds, right? Break out a 60, which in 60 seconds is 1 minute, right? So I'm going to put a 17 seconds and carry the 1 minute to the next column. Okay. And then adding those up, let's see, that's 53 if I'm adding all of those correctly. And so that is good because it's less than 60, right? So 53 is fine. If I get anything above 60, that's when I got to break out a 60 and carry, right? But here, since it's below, I'm good. And then now I'm just going to add the degrees. That's 96 degrees. Final answer. Okay. So that's addition. You may have to carry, you may not, just depends if you get something larger than 60. Okay, and the degrees, it doesn't matter if it's larger than 60, that could just be whatever, right? Because there's no unit of measurement larger than a degree. Okay, this number 7 example, okay, if we do some subtraction, all right, it's one of those things where, okay, if I just write it underneath, my problem here is that 47 is bigger than 25. If it was less than 25, no problem, just subtract and you're good to go, right? So here I'm going to have to borrow, right? So I'm going to cross out the 34 and put a 33, right? And so now I have a degree that I can carry over to the minutes column. A degree, 1 degree that I'm borrowing is the same as 60 minutes, right? So I'm going to carry this over and add that to that 25. So 60 minutes plus 25 minutes is 85 minutes. So I can cross that out if I want to make this 85. Okay, so really what you're saying here is 34 degrees and 25 minutes is the same as 33 degrees and 85 minutes. And converting it that way now will allow you just to subtract the like units. So 85 minus 47 is 38. If I'm doing that right, you could check my math and email me if I'm wrong. Okay, and then 33 minus 26 is 7 degrees. right? So my final answer, 7 degrees, 38 minutes. Okay. All right. So we're going to do something similar with this one. Now notice 90 degrees has no minutes, no seconds. So we're going to do some borrowing. Think about 90 degrees is the same as 89 degrees and 60 minutes, right? I'm borrowing 1 degree and converting it into minutes, okay? And then, so that's equal to 90. And then this, I still need some seconds, so I can do some borrowing. That's the same as 89. If I borrow a minute, 59 minutes, 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds, right? So this is just kind of a cool way to write 90 degrees, right? 89, 59, 60. Right? It's the exact same as 90. And what this allows me to do is do the subtraction, right? So now I can stack them. Put that one first. And then what I'm subtracting below. Now this is straightforward. 60 minus 45 is 15. 59 minus 15. Looks like 44, right? And then 89 minus 50, 39. Final answer. Okay. So that looks pretty good. Now, if you're not sure if you did it right, you can always add these two, right? This one and this one. Add those together. That should equal 90 degrees. All right, you can try that out. Okay. Okay, so that's addition and subtraction with the DMS form. The next thing we're going to look at are complements and supplements, which pretty simple. Complements just mean they add up to 90. Supplements, they add up to 180. All right, so oftentimes you'll just use subtraction here. So if you want to find the complement of 30 degrees, for example, 90 minus 30 is 60 degrees. There's your complement, right? Supplement, just subtract from 180, 150. So 60 is the complement, 150 is the supplement, right? Complements have that characteristic, they add up to 90. 30 plus 60 is 90, okay? So you can try another one here. These are rapid fire, quick. 90 minus 58, right? That's 32. Don't do it too fast where you mess up on the arithmetic. And then 180 minus 58 is 122. Okay, complement and supplement. And then finally, what if we have a little DMS form going here? Okay, we're going to have to use the techniques from above. So 90 minus that angle. Remember 90, write it in a fancy way. 90 is 8960, right? Subtract 1425, right? And then that will give it to me. So 60 minus 25 is 35 minutes. And then that's going to be 75 degrees. There will be the complement of 14 degrees, 25 minutes. Okay, how about the supplement? We have to subtract from 180. So a fancy way to write 180 is 179.60. Right? And then subtract off 1425, and we'll get it. That's going to be that 35 again, and then this is going to be 165. Okay. Complement, supplement, not too bad. Okay, so let's continue with the next page. We're going to start now talking about what's called standard position. Now we're putting angles on the X and Y axis. Okay, so our initial side is always going to be on that positive X axis right here. Right, maybe I'll highlight it. Initial side's always there. Okay, and then terminal side might end up in any quadrant. Okay, so there's 4 quadrants, and it goes in the order of counterclockwise. So quadrant 1 is the right there. Quadrant 2 is over here, right? And then we also have quadrants 3 and 4, right? So here would be quadrant 3, and here would be quadrant 4. They use Roman numerals for these a lot of the time, so that's what you're seeing, right? 1, 2, that's just 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, it could be that your angle ends up on an axis. If it ends up on an axis, it's called a quadrantal angle, right? So think about where those are located, right? 90 degrees, 180, 270 is here, 360 is here, right? So if your terminal side ends up on an axis, it's called quadrantal. And then, hey, there's nobody saying you have to stop at 360. You can keep going around and rotate through more, I guess, go through more rotations. So you could end up with an angle that's larger than 360, right? And so what you end up getting are what's called coterminal angles. Coterminal angle just means there's two different angles, but they end up on the same location, the same terminal side, right? So here's a good example of that. 60 and 420 are coterminal, right? 60 is just right here, right? 420 is going all the way around 360 degrees and then another 60, because 360 plus 60 is 420, right? But notice they both end up in the same location. Just 420 has that extra rotation in it. So another example, 110 and 830 are coterminal, okay? So it'll be helpful to, excuse me, know how to find coterminal angles. That's what we're going to practice with next, okay? But in general, coterminal angles differ by a multiple of 360 degrees, right? So differ means, okay, 420 minus 60, that's 360. 830 minus 110 is 720, which is a multiple of 360. It's 2 times 360. That's 2 extra rotations. All right, page 6, let's do some examples. For each of the following, and this is how your homework will look, find the measures of the least positive angle that is coterminal with A, the least positive, least smallest positive one, okay? So easy way to do that is just add 360 on this one, right? If you take 20, add a full rotation of 360 degrees, you get 380 degrees, okay? That's coterminal to 20, and it's the least positive one, right? I mean, you could have added another 360 if you wanted to, but then you're not getting the least positive one. You're getting a coterminal, but it's just not the smallest, okay? Now, if you start with a negative angle, which again is going to go clockwise, right? I could still do the same thing. I could still add, well, what's a 5? 360, right? But then negative 135 plus 360, or just really 360 minus 135, right? That's 225. That would be the least positive. Okay. How about 940? That's a big angle. So instead of adding 360, I probably want to subtract 360. And I might have to do it a couple of times. So 360 times 1 is 360. 360 times 2 is 720. So here I'm going to subtract 720. I'm subtracting a multiple of 360, right? Trying to get something that's less than 360 is my goal there, right? That's 220 degrees. Right? If I subtracted 360 again, I'm going to get a negative angle, which is not a positive angle, which the directions want. Okay, so I want that least positive. Ooh, negative 2,520. That's a lot of rotations. So I'm going to add some multiple of 360. I might explore with my calculator. What's 360 times 8? Right, that's 2,880. What's 360 times 7? Oh, well, 360 times 7 is exactly negative 2,520. That's pretty crazy. So if I added that, I would get 0, which is not positive. So I'm going to have to add the bigger one. I'm going to add 2,880. Right? So let's take this and add 2,880, and I'm going to get 360 degrees. And that's the least positive angle that's coterminal with the given angle. Okay, so notice in all of those, I'm either adding or subtracting 360 or a multiple of 360, right? To get really an angle that's 360 or less, or sorry, as the smallest positive angle that's coterminal to that one. Okay, so it doesn't have to necessarily be 360 or less like the first example, right? Okay. We're going to stop there for now because that's a good stopping point, and then we'll finish the rest of the handout on the next video. Give ourselves a little break here. If you're ready to go, just go ahead and click on the next one. I'll pick up where I left off. Okay, hope all is well with you. Talk to you later.